How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another live stream. So we're good to go here today with Cooney Hills. I actually got to get it running here. I forgot to press the start button. My bad. But let's pop over there quickly. Welcome to the stream, guys. Happy Sunday. Cheers. Happy coffee. I almost poured it on myself again because I had it the wrong way. That's garbage. So let's go ahead and get right into this here today. I really want to get Cooney Hills finished. I'm a little further back than I thought I was before. So, yeah. Desktop audio. There we go. Let me know if the music is actually too loud. It might be. I just want it to be barely background music. So let me turn that down a bit here. There we go. Awesome. Okay, cool. We are good to go. And how's everyone doing today? What's everyone up to? Hey, Eden, what's up? How you doing? Hey, Eden, remember earlier when you asked me how good of a brow raise I can do? Check this out. That's legit. That's right. Colbert is a man when it comes to the brow raise. So, anyways, what do we got left to do here? I think we were concentrating also, or we had to make mix. How much mix do we have? We have a good amount of mix. It was frames we needed. That's what we needed. So let's go check on our frame situation here and go do ourselves some building. The music's really low. Perfect. Awesome. That's where I want it to be. Just barely audible. It's no copyright sounds, but you never know on YouTube. Shit happens. Okay. Apparently I don't have any frames being made. I don't have any frames in my inventory. So let's go ahead and, ooh, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and start making some frames. Yeah. It's actually cold here today. It kind of sucks. Good day to stream, though. I don't really feel guilty about missing anything. Awesome. We'll just make a whole fucking shitload of frames here. It's so good you turn into Colbert. Yeah, that's how epic my brow raise is that I morph into Stephen Colbert. So it looks like they let the animals out here today. I don't know if you guys went to oh, where's Hayes when I need her? Today's definitely a babysitting day. hard to catch up on the other videos when you stream live. Yeah, my bad. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's okay though. YouTube's weird like that too. Like sometimes if I stream, it'll like kill a video, but whatever. At this point in time, I don't even care. I'm having fun streaming. I am offended you didn't say hi back. Well, I'm offended I didn't see you say hi. Okay. We need a lot of frames, so let's go ahead and actually just do some sorting while we're waiting for those dang frames. Got a fresh pot of coffee brewing? Yeah, I just got one to you here too. It's my second cup today. I've already had one, so... nail gun parts needs to go into tools. So does these wrenches. Everything in here actually pretty much needs to be put away. That's right. I grabbed a whole bunch of stuff on the way up here. Ugh, 10 lead? Not even worth holding on to. Scrap plastics. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna just toss it. Screw you, lead. Trigger half my audience. I'm gonna head if that's okay. Well, of course that's okay, Emerald. You have your own life. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping in. I want to be special. You're special. Here's a participation trophy for you. Plenty of time to catch up on the videos. Yeah, it's a Sunday. It's a chill day. I'm actually just kind of really chill today. So, pills, honey. Whoops. I need to put my honey in the pills, honey container here. Misc health components. I'll put that in there. Let's put our silvers away. Our nuggets. And we have some other random crap here. I'll put that in boom stuff, I guess. The calipers need to go away. The feathers can go fuck themselves, so that's for sure. Hey, what's up, Todd? Welcome to stream, man. Hey, Sirius, how you doing? Krutang, yeah, I'm not gonna have one for Monday. I'm gonna stream on Monday again and release a stream video, but I should have one out for Tuesday.
Get this guy, funny guy,
welcome to the channel here. First subscriber of the day, actually. Roblox Games. Welcome to the channel, dude. Oh, dude, I have no idea, man. They announced PS4 updates on the forums, on the PS, or on the... Where am I going? I meant to go to the Forge. They announced some on the forums, and all I simply do is relay that information to you when they do. I don't have an in, man. I'm not special. Is the bot on? Oh, crap. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I forgot the bot here. Here we go. Let's get Fussbot going. My bad. Sorry, guys. We'll get her running. Love it. I'm so laid back today, I didn't even want to do the bot. Ooh. It has an update, but I'm not going to bother doing it because it was working as of yesterday. So there we go. It should be up now. It should be working. Check it out. Yeah, I did, Jay. My bad. Okay, brass. We got to put this iron away. Alex, welcome to the channel, dude. Alex Rainey. Iron. That bot updates so much. Actually, you know what? I gotta bring some of this over to the forge because we need it. We needs it. Not in this one. This one needs, what, glass? Yeah, it needs some more glass here. Let's go, shower glass blocks because we need these for the side of the building. We need to keep making these fuckers. So we definitely need to pump some more sand into it as well. And, wow, I'm actually out of sand in here, too. Alright. Oh, I only need 2 stacks. What am I doing? There we go. Let's go grab some more sand. Gotta get these forges going. I gotta stay on track. Oh, it's on this side. I'm like, where's all my sand? I have, like, chest full of sand. We have so much sand, it's not even funny. Alright.
Get this guy, funny guy,
Sans, welcome to the channel, dude. GTA Master, you as well, man. Okay.
Get this guy, funny guy,
Gotta love those when they happen 2 in a row. How do I play games? How are you, man? Welcome back. Hey, Dawson, what's up, dude? Hey, I always don't know how to say your name, so I'm gonna... Yeah, Tristan. That's right, Tristan. Welcome back, dude. Long time no see. Sometimes I only see some of you on Sundays. That's why I don't mind streaming in the middle of the day on Sunday. It's a good time to stream. Chilled back, relaxed. Okay, awesome. We have more than enough frames to go and keep doing some work here, so let's actually go ahead and do that. Ooh. I forgot to top off the fuel. When do you stream live? It's just kind of random. On weekdays, I tend to stream about 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And on weekends, it's either an earlier stream or it's a later stream. I'm a casual streamer, man. I just do it because I have fun doing it. Okay. So, basically, what you'd have to do is subscribe to the channel. Damn it. I haven't even gotten all my build here yet. Okay. I'm going to put all this shit away. We need the concrete mix. We do definitely... Oh, we already have the nail gun, so that's good. So mix, wood, and frames, and we are good to go. Awesome. Let's do this. Oh, you know what? My bow can stay here. That'll give me a little extra room. Almost felt like someone's pulling on my mouse. That was weird. I'm looking for the little dog. He's not around now, so I'm assuming he is up to no good. I don't know where he is. He's being really quiet. I don't miss hungovers or being really drunk sick. Oh, I do not miss hangovers at all. Like, I don't drink anymore, period. Even for the taste, I swear. If anything, I love my coffee. It's like cocaine to me. Keeps me going. Makes me do shit like this. I want to see what it looks like from down here. We actually haven't taken a good look at it. Oh wow, look at that. All we got is that like cross, or that top part, and then I gotta come across again and then just do the two that go out from the top. Place the glass in, do the grass, and Cooney Hills is good for release. So yeah, holy fuck. Oh, and I gotta do some red stuff as well too, but that's not so hard. I think I got a ton of that left anyways. Because I made a whole ton when I did that. I farmed a whole bunch of red mums and turn them into metal. Because I want to do like the red outline trim thing on the other side. I need some hot tea. Woke up an hour ago. I like tea as well too. I will not lie. Will I ever stream on Creativerse? I sometimes do on my second channel, man. That one Creativerse stream was a promotional. Okay. Yeah, we'll use a ladder to get up. We'll go right up to the top floor here. And up we go. So we gotta go this way through up top. My condo is down here, and the shooting range is down there. So we gotta kind of actually crawl around the top and crawl around the framework of the building. Well, that's where the shooting range is. If you guys are curious on how I made the tiles, what I've done is I've actually modded in. Oops, I've actually modded in all the creative blocks. So that you can make them as recipes. To make a concrete trim 2 industrial tile block, you need a glass and concrete mix, and you make it in the mixer. To make orange metal tan industrial tile block, this is what painting's supposed to replace, is all these like ridiculous blocks. But the tile floor blocks, you need to make them in the workbench. They need broken glass, clay, crushed sand, and small stone. So I even made the recipes a little tedious. They're not incredibly tedious, but I made them not easy. My server shares the same files. I'm looking forward to modding Alpha 16 again, giving it more of a builder's balance. Hey, what's up, Arthur? How do I play games you've been waiting? Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for holding in there with the Let's Plays. I got a lot done that I needed to do, which was nice. A coffee IV sounds great, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, Eden, how are you feeling? Oh, that bothers me. You know what we could do now, though? We could fix it now. Now that we have the frame system in, we can fix this shit. I'm gonna punch it out, and then we will... Oh, I don't have anything to punch it out with. Oh well. I'll use my sledgehammer. It'll work. It'll get it done. Watch it glitch out and collapse the whole freaking thing. This one never set. Pisses me off when they don't set. Okay, so let's try that sheet again. I also gotta go along at some point and clean up all the random rebar frame that is throughout this the main framework. There's so much rebar frame just sitting around. Like that one didn't need 3. This one doesn't need 3. Bring your mug, I'll fill it up. Nice. Hey Sam, what's up, man? Hey Miles, what's going on, dude? What's my favorite thing about 7 Days to Die? The physics and building challenge of it, man. I do like the survival aspect, but in my opinion, it's not extremely strong in the survival aspect. And it was more like the physics and building part, and actually like the tower defense, where you get shit that's actually like beating up your buildings and crap. That's what really drew me to the game. Kind of building with a purpose. But now I'm just glory building at this point, to be honest. Cooney Hills is just getting ridiculous. Okay, this is where we stopped last time. I'm gonna fill all this in. Still waking up. Nice. I've been up for a little while. Did a little training with the little brats, and yeah, trying to not to get him to go in the house. He will not go in his room. I've had to. I'm getting him a kennel today. I'm gonna kennel train him. I think he's getting the point that when he goes to the washroom outside, I'm very happy with it, and when he does it inside, I'm not so happy with it. We just gotta work on loyalty now, I guess. And the kennel will probably help. They love kennels apparently, so. For president? Ah, screw that shit. I just want to play video games. It turns out being president is a lot more work than I thought it was. Okay, let's go this way. Oh. Playing some flip coin. That's sick that those mini games just started working. This bot's getting better and better. I can't wait until I can incorporate it into my stream and such. It's gonna be much nicer. Whew. We are so close, guys. I could taste it. Like, look at that. We're on the last level of this thing. I'm thinking we're gonna run out of mix, so I'm thinking that's gonna be a real thing. But when I do go make mix, I can go do something else. The forges don't need to run that long to just forge what I have left in there for stone. So like maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes each. And it should make more than enough stone for concrete, or mix for cement. For concrete. You guys know what I'm saying. I just got through the third horde night. Sick, man. I just had my 64th last night on this map. And probably my thousandth. My 1000th. Period. You having a good internet day today, Hayes? Ah, there is Hayes. Could have used it earlier. It's okay, though. It wasn't anything I couldn't handle. Okay. Here we go. How long have you spent on this build? 456 days times 50-minute day cycles divided by 60. If you have a calculator, you know. If you happen to have a calculator on you. That's how I did it. Just happen to have one on you. By chance. Love the LP this weekend. Thanks, Blink. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. So I know some people watch streams, they use headphones, and some people watch streams and use their TV speakers or their cell phone speakers. How's the sound level for you guys on headphones? Headphones are the most sensitive. So that's why I always test out my stuff wearing headphones. Like when I pre-watch my videos and stuff, I put a pair of headphones on. Because sometimes you can hear stuff in headphones that you absolutely cannot hear on the speakers. Like it's insane actually. There's some videos that that show you the difference. It's funny. Oh dear, did I miss spammers? No, just kids stopping in. being young, I guess. You know, the usual YouTube comments type deal going on. It seems to be good now, though. I think I clipped them all early. Hey, what's up, Nudgy? How you doing? Headphones is good. Cool. How is the stream called, I guess? I just... Ever since they fixed my internet, like, it's been so much better. I've been so happy since... I don't know why, it was really stressing me out when, like, I had to drop my stream quality down and go back and forth all the time. It's made things a lot easier. Thank God they fixed that. People spamming eggplants and shit, like what? Yeah, guys, don't spam in streams. It's a pain in the ass. It's hard enough for me to read the chat sometimes as it is when you come in and act a fool. Well, we ban you like a fool. That's what happens. My boy. How you doing, Fall Upside? What's up, man? Nip it in the bud real quick. That's right. Kind of like that Chihuahua and him pissing all over my house. I'm nipping that shit in the bud real quick. What I'm gonna do, because he likes being by my feet, I don't know where he is right now. Oh, he's behind me. How you doing, buddy? What's up? Can you guys see him? Maybe, maybe not. There he is. He's really tiny and he really blends in. Oh, did I scare you? I'm sorry. Your fast movements, eh? But yeah, he's I don't think he's gone yet. I don't smell anything, so he barked for the first time today. I've been trying to housebreak him, and I noticed he won't piss in his own room. Like, that's the only place he hasn't done it. And so what I've done is I've kind of barricaded him in there. Like, I don't leave him in there and not pay attention to him. Like, I'll barricade him in there with his food and his water. And then after he's done eating, I'll let him outside and he'll go pee and I'll give him a reward. Oh, look, there's a little bugged out block right there. I'll give him a reward when he goes pee and then let him run around the house for a bit. He got mad earlier though when I put him back in there. You'll learn. But he's running around now. Yeah, he doesn't have a source of water or anything at the moment, so he had a bladder infection when I got him, so he was drinking water like crazy. He slowed down a bit, and he doesn't. It seems to be clearing, so it's good. Bork bork. Awesome. Hey Todd, what's up, man? I haven't seen this playthrough since the 21-day horde. Holy crap, Alan. That's got to be what, like 6 months ago now. Yeah, it's gotten pretty large. I actually Cooney Hill got pushed to the side for a little while I was doing modded stuff. So I'm actually just coming back to it now. So, but it has come a long way since day 21. Actually, if you were watching the day 21 horde, that base isn't even here anymore. That base is destroyed. We blew that one up for funds. Oh, missed a spot. My bad. Dogs typically, yeah. That's why I'm trying to train them that way, right? Like I don't like leaving them back there, but he's gotta learn. Like he knows, he goes outside and goes to the washroom right away. But I've caught him just casually doing it in the house, and I'm like, oh, you little asshole. So what I'm gonna do is crate train him. And I'll keep them close by, but I'll keep them crated in every different room in the house, so that he nests in every room in the house, and hopefully he'll consider every room in the house where he sleeps, and he won't do it inside anymore, because apparently small dogs like Chihuahuas like the kennels. So I've never kenneled an animal before. I've never actually ended up having to do it. I don't even think I could kennel Lex. You'd need a room. Like the kennel would be the size of a room. Hey Steven, what's up, man? Welcome back. Natala, welcome to the stream. How do you say that? Natalia. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that crap. Welcome to the stream. Cheers. I've been here since day 100. Yeah, that's a long time. My 100-day base stuff. When I was first starting this build. Was I starting it on day 21? You must have been watching later in this series, dude. I don't think I even, like, started. Maybe I was digging or looking at it. I remember putting a chest up at the top of this thing. We're actually finishing up the last side of it for the exterior, and then I am putting it out for download so that you guys can come and do whatever the hell you want. I'm gonna do a video challenge, and then we're gonna vote for the best video, and then I don't know, maybe I'll give that person like a $50 gift card. I think a video challenge would be fun and kind of drive up interaction on YouTube for content while we wait for Alpha 16. Oh, by the way, guys, holy crap! Joel released a video last night about Alpha 16. It looks awesome. Honestly, I cannot wait to play Alpha 16, guys. Like it looks so good. It looks so good. The zombies look amazing. The buildings look amazing. The arches are fucking epic. Just like there's so much. I'm gonna watch it again, I think, today. The whole 1 hour thing. And you know what? I like what Joel did with it this time. He was like, you know what? I have a mechanical keyboard and shit, and it just doesn't sound right. So you guys can just watch me play. I was like, nice. Way to go, man. Because sometimes just raw gameplay is the best way to watch a game. Because, like, honestly, when I'm not talking, I can get this work done, like, 5 times faster. Hey, Midnight Designer, what's up? Oh, yes, guys, Midnight Designer. We should actually do some stuff here pretty soon, man, to fill in the time in between, I think we should do some stuff, because I'm back into making videos now, so I gotta come up with some video content. But guys, Midnight Designer, we've collabed a few times. If you want to catch them, go to youtube.com/user/Midnight Designer, or just search Midnight Designer. It's not hard to find. This is his logo. I asked him permission to use it. Copyright Midnight Designer 2017. But anyways, check him out. He's a cool guy. He's very family friendly as well too, so if you have children, it is actually a great channel to watch. Did you get your walker over the computer tab? Are you guys making... Well, that's... Midnight Designer's not that old. Besides, he has his son to help him stand up. I agree, the walker helped out a lot. Nice. Nice. But yeah, how's everyone doing anyways? Sunday? Good old Sunday? You just get back in, MD, or what? Or was I talking to you earlier? So much going on. Look at that. Look at that. I hope they optimize Alpha 16 for Linux. Doubt it, dude. It's cool that you love that operating system and stuff, and it works well. But there's such a low user base for Linux, man. That's like a whole big back burner thing, dude. You know what I mean? You're gonna be waiting until gold for that kind of thing. I'm actually surprised they really support Linux, to be honest, for an indie dev early access game. Not that old. Not helping Skip. I'm sticking up for you, dude. So much to get did today. Yeah, I know. I gotta go do running around. I gotta go grab a carrier, and hopefully I can go do some groceries. Because seriously, I need to stop ordering in, like, big time. It sucks cooking for one person. Maybe we should just eat chicken every day and eat with my dogs. Hey, did you guys see the video of Lex feeding his pet dog? It was pretty epic. MD and Skippy, how you doing in the polls? I'm not even in the polls. MD's got a fair share of the of votes, but the Spanish community kind of came out and like blew everyone out of the water. Like, Games for Kicks is even, like, Games for Kicks is in 3rd place. Like, the Spanish people just, like, knocked it out of the ballpark. Like, out of nowhere, too. And I was leading by heat up until the last day overnight. And then the Spanish person said something, I guess. And bam. He, like, overran me in votes. I was just like, oh my god. I wasn't pissed or anything. I thought it was funny. I was not expecting it. Anyways, guys, now that we've seen content from Joel on Alpha 16, I'm thinking we're like 2-3 weeks away, guys. Because last time Joel started making content, we were 2 or 3 weeks away. It did not take long to get the Alpha 16 content at all. Joel was making, what, a video every day, I think he was? He was making a lot of video content, so I think we're very, very close to it being around the corner. Hey, is the internet gods still mad at you? Oh, they always are. Ooh. Almost a little congested today, oddly enough. It's like the weather changes, and it's like, here's winter again. Screw you. Okay. Sick. Look at this, guys. We only have that little square to fill in, and we're done. And we still have a concrete mix. Wow, I completely overestimated how much it would have taken to do this. That's okay though. That means I don't really have to make much more. All I have to do is go and do that ledge, and we're good. We got the top part done. We can start laying down some grass, and some glass and grass. Hey, what's up, Tim? Oh, I know. I'm excited as well too. Better Call Saul. Okay. Oh, this is like the icing on the cake right here, guys. This last little section right here. It's like peeling the paint off, basically. And then I gotta do some detail-oriented stuff, like the glass, and finishing up the top. But can you guys taste it? You'll be able to download this soon. I can put it up for download. That's gonna be sick. I gotta figure out how to do it, so it's not, like, huge. Go. And awesome. Look at that. Look at that. That's fucking sick. Okay, so what I got to do is jump down, go on top, and finish up doing a little edge up there. Oh, this is so awesome. See, it doesn't take long to do this stuff, as long as you do it in like a sequence, and you have like always your forges and stuff running properly. It's really easy to do it. Even grinding materials, if you know how to find it and do it properly, it takes next to no time. I mean, that lead we found, we'll cover this whole side with glass. Hey, Aaron, what's up, man? I wish my computer was able to handle 7 days to die. Oh, that sucks, dude. Yeah, David, you know what, though, man? Like, I'd rather honestly watch someone that's involved with the game play it. You know what I mean? It's a... He's not an entertainer. He's more of an informer, right? So I'm glad he does it. A lot of actually, there's very few indie devs that will play their own games like that, like open themselves up to scrutiny. Because YouTube is a bitch of a place to be. Like people become douchebags on YouTube. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has to be not everyone, but you know what I mean. Like there's a majority of people that even normally wouldn't do that stuff in real life. Period. Turn into the trolls on YouTube, and then it just becomes a shit show. Well, as you can see, Joel had to turn his comments and all that off because people are just being idiots. Like if you don't like it, don't watch it. It's not that big of a deal. It's the end of the world. This content isn't what I want it to be. I can't just simply go on to the next video and watch something else. Life without the internet isn't so bad. Oh, I love like spending like 2-3 days out in the bush, fishing and shit, and just having campfires. It's such a good separation from real life. I'm gonna have to do that this summer. I'm gonna disappear for a couple days at a time here. You know what? I should actually do that before Alpha 16 drops. I think that's a very good idea. Maybe work really hard and ramp up my Let's Plays so that I at least can release videos on days I can't stream. And just go out and relax. I could use a good relax. Definitely. Cut my fucking hair so I don't get it full of bugs. Yeah, I gotta get this shit done too, guys. That's for sure. Am I a douche? No. But you spelled it wrong. That's cool. You and MD building Cooney together? I don't think that's gonna happen because I'm like basically almost done, man. But let's go up top here and get her done. What I have to do is actually drop down to the bottom there. We'll just take the shaft up. We'll take the shaft. It's a quick shaft, but it really gets you up there. I love these things. And I do know, just in case you didn't know this, guys, if you put a plate down here, and then you put the plate down here, and then you close it, it'll actually automatically shoot you up. I'm not a big fan of that, actually. That's why I do this, and then I just press space when I actually want to go. Because I'm forgetful. Sometimes I'll be like, oh crap, and then I have to run back for something. So I don't like it when it like automatically pushes you up the channel. But I forgot to mention it in the video for people who might want to use it. Okay. Oh yeah, we filled in this section over here. Oh wow, look at these. These are pretty damaged too. And they run right down the side. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be real careful that I don't make cops explode on this thing again. That last Horde Night was insane when I blew one up on here, and they made a hole in this thing. Like, holy crap, was that ever... I got lucky. None fell down in there. I got real lucky with it. Life is meaningless without internet. That's funny. Take Bruiser with you to fish? For bait? I'm kidding. I love that dog, but he's so tiny. I could use him as bait. I probably won't. He's a little old, and Chihuahuas aren't really that great with being outside for extended periods of time. Lex is a dog I take with me fishing. He's an old hunting dog, and he just loves being outside. He's great off leash too. Like literally, I can let him go for half an hour, and as soon as I whistle, he's back within like a minute. He's such a good dog, and he doesn't get into things. He knows, like he's not an idiot. Like, he knows not to approach animals that are displaying aggressive traits. So yeah, he's really good. But he brings me dead animals every once in a while. That's no fun.
Get this guy, funny guy.
Thumbs of Anarchy, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. Hope you're enjoying the content, man. So guys, you know what? Let's actually it's not daytime yet. At daybreak, what we're going to do, I think we're going to spice up the stream here a little bit. We'll take up a little bit of a coffee break. And what we'll do is we'll give away 50 Dukes. We'll do another quick giveaway here. I think they're fun. They're fun to watch, especially when the stream goes, or the stream chat goes crazy. So we'll do another giveaway for 50 Dukes. We gave away Seasons Pass to The Walking Dead yesterday. The Walking Dead by Telltale Games on PC. From episode 1 to episode 5, which is actually out on the 30th in 9 days. So yeah, it was free. It was sent to me by Telltale. I couldn't be I couldn't be bothered to play it, like at all. I'm not really into that type of game, so it's valuable. So I was like, why not give it to somebody? Quite often, like I do get keys and stuff for like smaller games and stuff. Just stuff I'd never try, right? But they already done the keys. So what I do is I give them away to people in my Discord randomly. I just do random shoutouts, and the first person to say it gets it. Luke, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the follow. Hey, is there a space missing over here? There is too. How the fuck did I manage this crap? That's funny. Wow. Alright. Let me pick that up. Derp. Okay. It's 4 o'clock. I don't really see any zombies around, so we're okay. I'm gonna go ahead and we are gonna switch back to my cam, and we're gonna do that giveaway here. Let's get that sucker going. Control giveaway. We're actually just gonna call this one Free Dukes. There we go. And the command for it is gonna be FD. FD. There we go. I should put it lowercase. The entry cost is one Duke, and I'll give you guys 3 minutes to get her done. And yeah, you get 50 Dukes out of it. That's actually quite a bit of Dukes. Here we go. Let's start that raffle up. Bam, you guys should see it in the stream already. Awesome. Awesome. I'm gonna grab a swig of the coffee here. That's tasty. It's all gone now though, which kind of sucks. I love it. Do you guys see it in there? Yeah. Type FD to take part. Yeah, there you go. Woohoo, free stuff. Well, it's just more free points to put towards free stuff when we actually do have free stuff. I did get one code today. It's for a game called Cave Blazers. I'll definitely... Oh, White. Holy crap. How are you doing, man? I'm definitely going to be giving that away in my Discord later. I actually forgot all about it. Remind me in my Discord, guys, about Cave Blazers. I'll do a... Wait, you can't. I'll do a random shout out for it at some point today. We'll do that up. I love the spam chat. That's awesome. You know what? I should actually move that up from the bottom here. Oh, I know what it is. I shrunk it a bit. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. That's why it's going up towards the top. My bad. But at least it's not, like, completely going across my face anymore. I can't believe the bot's is good at keeping up with shit. Yeah, we still got 1 minute and 40 seconds. And you guys can enter as many times as you want, too. It's not just one entry. You can enter 1 point as many times as you want. So if you're a natural spammer, this is a time that it's actually okay to spam. Do I have blue eyes? No, they're hazel. They change color. If I'm out in the sun, they go like really light green, and if I'm like inside, they kind of go like a brown greenish. It's really weird. But yeah, right now they should be actually light green because I have these LEDs shining on me. Hit me with an Elgato meme. White. What's up, man? Stream State of Decay. Man, there's so many games out there. I can't keep up with this shit. I wish I could, but I can't. All right, we got 47 seconds as of when I said this left on the giveaway here, and it's a good way to make sure it's working as well too. Oh man, I can't be bothered. My fingers are lazy right now. That's what she said. Okay, so like I do repeat, guys, our stream is not about babysitting. If you want to be a child, you get blocked like a child. Alright, there we go. We should actually be over now. Let's check it out here. 13 seconds. Actually, 10 seconds now. I lied. 10 more seconds. So you guys can... Okay, by the time you actually hear this, you should stop the spamming because it's over. It's over. It's all done. 0 seconds. It's all done. Let's draw the winner of 50. Duder Harris. You actually won 50 off of that, man. There you go, dude. How was that? How was them apples? Imagine I logged back in and I was dead. I didn't even have my freaking game up. I could have got killed and I wouldn't have even realized it. That's what he said. That's what he said. Oh yeah, actually that makes a little more. Wow. Gotta be open-minded about it. Oh shit, we're gonna need some more. Oh, we got lots. We got lots. I can always run back and grab some more. Yeah, we gotta finish up this ledge. We gotta place down some grass. You know what? I'm thinking we're gonna need some more dirt. So oh wait, I don't even need to make cement now. I could use more though for the racetrack. I'm thinking though of making asphalt for the racetrack, to be honest. Said I can't chat anymore because I was spamming it. Yeah, it actually only allows you to do it so many times, but it's still a fair amount of times you can do it. It actually kind of helps out, to be honest. I like chocolate. Chocolate is good. 10-second delay, and the winner is the winner was Duder Harris. I should have said it in the chat as well too, but it probably got buried by by spam. Love it. You can't only enter those kind of contests once, right? No, you can do it multiple times. As long as you have the points, you can keep entering it. Every time you do it is one entry into it. So that time, like, one entry was 1 point. And like the better ones, like yesterday when we gave away the season's pass, that one was 3 points each entry. So it was a little more expensive. So yeah, like every time you do that, you enter. It's a little different than the other bots, but I actually kind of like it. I don't mind it at all. Because honestly, it's kind of fun to spam sometimes. I will admit, it is kind of fun to spam. Right, White? You look like a guy. You remind me of a guy who would like to spam at 2 a.m. What was the waffle for? Feeling a little blue? Oh, the the raffle or the waffle? Were you guys talking about the raffle and typed in waffle instead? That's hilarious. The raffle was just for 50 free points. It wasn't for anything crazy. But the winner of that raffle will now have 50 free points to put towards the next raffle. Yeah, I know, Todd. It's unfortunate. That's why I kind of just do those things all at once. It's a little easier that way. Can you grow a beard? Yeah, I actually had to shave this morning. I was all beardy yesterday, all facial hairied. But no, I won't grow a beard. Sicko. Can I have a waffle, please? I'm not sure you want one, man. It's an Australian thing? The waffles? Hazmat gear work on the PS4? It actually doesn't, man. Hazmat gear doesn't have an effect on PS4 at all. There's nothing in the radiated zone anyways, you know what I mean? So it's not really like you're missing on anything out. It's just a world border. I mean, unless you pulled a dummy and drove into it and died with all your stuff in there, and you can't get back to it because you're so far in. That's funny. That's another reason too. They slowed down the mini bikes so you don't drive off the edge of the world if it doesn't load in, and try to keep you from driving too far into the radiated biome. Waffles do sound good, actually. I haven't had a waffle in forever. It's a little late for waffles here. It's 12:34 p.m. Actually, you know what? There's a really good restaurant not that far away from me. I completely forgot about. That serves awesome meals. Any meal you want, any time of the day. I love it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you want to go get a hamburger, like a full-out hamburger, fries and crap, like homemade hamburgers. I'm talking like fat-ass ones, not like the little McDonald's patty things that have the same amount as fat as a big fat one. Those ones, oh, they're so good. You can get one at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It was the best hangover food back in the day. Or not hangover food, but after being out all night food. Why am I going this way? I'm going to jump off the edge. But yeah, there's a 24-hour restaurant. I forgot about that place. How did I do that? And I don't live that far away. I could literally walk there. See you guys. I'm just gone. I peace out. Leave the stream running. Okay. So what were we doing, guys? Pulling the brain fart here. Oh yeah, we had to go get more rebar frame. And I gotta pick up some grassy ground. Jose, I have no idea when the next update for PS4 is gonna be, man. I know as much as you do. I only pass on the information when they release it, man. I wish I had an inside track. That would be nice. I've heard rumblings, but that's about it. Forge. I'm making a bagel and oatmeal. That sounds good too. I can't be asked to make oatmeal though. Oatmeal sucks. Okay, so let's make some more shower glass here. Welcome to the stream, Lasika? I'm gonna call you L. Welcome to the stream, L. Thanks for the sub. So I butcher names sometimes. You gotta love it. Okay, I'm putting that clay away, and we are gonna look in the second one because I think this is one. Yeah, this is one here. Now we have more than enough rebar frames to get this shit done. Actually, what we really need is steel. Okay, cool. We'll keep this going. Some more steel. Awesome. Oh yeah, did I finish up the steel at the bottom? I don't think I did. I don't think I did at all, actually. Okay, there's none kicking around there just randomly. So we got rebar frames. We need steel. Okay, I guess there. Oh, I see it. there it is. I knew there was some in there. And where were we making the grass? Here we go. 315 grassy ground. Coming right up. No others? Eating eggs and sausage? Oh, here's the rest of it. Here's the rest of it. Awesome. Oh, wait. Was some of that snow? Oh, no. Okay, none of it's snow. I've done that before, too. Grass and snow looks very similar. Carrot King, a.k.a. Matthew. Welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. Yep, they're good butchers, though. Easy game. How you doing, man? Okay, yeah, let's go do this. Let's finish her off. Let's make her proud. Show her what we learned. Gotta go all the way up to the top now. With sauce or no? Always with sauce. Wind Ying. Do I play Starvation mod? No. I may take a look at it. Alpha 16. It was a little too not quite where I wanted to be yet to play it. True Survival was my thing. That's what I really liked. That's what I like doing. True Survival was fun. It's a real challenge. Oh, please stay here, thank you. Oh, fuck you guys. Damn it. You know what? I do have to go out today, though, and get that kennel for my dog. So I'm starting to think I want a big old hamburger. I gotta buy myself a fucking barbecue. Yeah, screw ordering in. I'll just fire up a barbecue and have a fucking hamburger every night. I could deal with that. Buy, like, a whole fucking shitload of hamburgers from the bulk store here. We don't actually have a Costco or any like big stores like that, but we do have a local one. And it's not bad actually. It's what all it's like what the restaurants and shit use, but anybody can shop there. They just sell in very large amounts. Like you go and you buy like this big ass box of hamburgers. Put that shit in my freezer and I'm good to go for the summer. I don't need no more nutrition, just some beef. True Survival is very fun. I watched you play it for a couple of episodes. Yeah, it is fun. It's really challenging. Even that True Survival really matured over its time. I'm hoping to, like Starvation does. It's just at this moment it's too janky for me to want to pick up. And I already have so much other stuff going on. Valmod to me is fun. Like I'll play Valmod at this point over Starvation. But Starvation is what Valmod is Alpha 13, you know what I mean? Just young. True Survival, they figured out how to fix a lot of the menu lag and the machine lag, because like if you have a large amount of recipes or items and stuff, the menu constantly refreshes itself and it lags. So like if even on my computer, sometimes it'll be choppy if I have a forge open. And part of the game is keeping those forges open to get the XP. True Survival keeps fucking me up. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's not a mod for the easily frustrated at all. It's almost like a open world take on 7 Days to Die. You know what I mean? You did see where you get the cement mixer and why a building's so big? Hey? Tomato sauce on sushi? Ugh, seafood. Can't even smell that shit. Good on you if you can eat it, but fortunately, none of my family eats it, so I got really lucky. Yeah, I can't do the seafood thing like calamari, all the other stuff. I do like fish though. I'm not really a big fan of inland fish, But like cod and salmon and crap, oh, that shit's mouth-watering. I love it. We have such good salmon fishing here too. We have several species of salmon that run through. You catch yourself a good friggin' 30-pound king salmon. Oh my god, you throw that on the barbecue or you smoke it. Oh, it's so good. And it's fresh too, because like you can literally catch it, bring it home. It takes 10 minutes to get home and do it up. I can't play True Survival because my PC is only a regular PC. What makes it not right? You mean it's not like a really good PC? I'm sure. Yeah, it's a little heavy on the processor. I will admit that, but you should be able to dumb it down a bit to get it working, no? I don't know. It's seafood just has a distinct smell to me that I can't. It's not the fish smell. That's not what it is. There's another like certain odor to seafood that drives me crazy. Obviously, I fish all the time. I'm a fisherman, so the fish smell doesn't bother me. But it's something stuff that comes out of like deep ocean that really kind of disturbs me. Shrimp and cocktail sauce. Yeah, good job, Hayes. That's funny. Good old babysitting. Oh yeah, we're gonna need to go and get some more dirt big time. We're not gonna have nearly enough to finish this whole thing. But we're gonna have a ton more plant fibers to turn into hay bales, because we need a shitload of hay bales to run along this side to negate the spawning on it. Or this side to negate spawning down here. So we still have to spawn proof it. You know what? Actually, there is still a little bit more work involved. But we can get it done. I have a few hours here today. We can definitely do this. Get this grinding done. Almost thought I heard a zombie. I'm traffic watching? Oh, that's always fun. Sit there for hours and just stare out the window. Have you tried licking the window too? Kind of adds some diversity to it. The frame drops down to 5 to 10 when I try to play it and keeps crashing. Try turning down your UMA textures. There's a problem with the UMA texture delivery in 7 Days to Die. Even I have it turned down to low. Like, I just zerged it. I'm like, screw it. Or nerfed it. I was like, screw it. Zerged it. I attacked it with many, many hate. Why I love the sushi is grand. Did you have some ground sushi? Oh, I should just work my way back across this way. What am I doing? You're overheating. Shut up. Why can't we just wear hay bale shoes? I know, right? Or just make rocket packs so we can fly around, or make helicopters. I mean, it is the end time. I should be able to make a helicopter. You'll get rashes? Yeah, don't be getting any of those rashes, Bo. Well, are you a girl? I think you're a girl, right? Or are you a boy? I actually never... A lot of you, I actually don't know if you're a girl or a boy. Is there a sales tax in Canada? Yeah, of course there is, man. A lot of countries have sales taxes. Like, we don't have taxes on necessities like food and stuff. Junk food there is. Like, if you want to buy a bag of chips, you don't need a bag of chips to eat, right? But if you're buying, like, a bag of pasta, there isn't. On luxury goods and stuff there is, of course, and, like, cars and vehicles and stuff. It's what pays for our social services. I can imagine Sam. Hey Sam, what's up, dude? Good to see you again, man. Sam poking his head out. Are you still rocking the Boundless? All sad because no one else is on it? It is kind of sad, but you know what? That's why there's a lot of abandoned cities on Boundless. It's because they do really, like, it's almost like they do really good at like updating the game, and then they just kind of stall a bit. I actually got to check the website and see what they're up to. I haven't checked their progress updates in a while, and I haven't seen or heard anything actually. Need to fix a mini bike. Honestly, I wish you would just tear the mini bike out and add in a bicycle. A bicycle would make much more sense, and it would use your stamina instead of like endless gas supplies. I think a bicycle would be a lot better. And that too, and like you could even take your pick your bicycle up. You wouldn't need to take it apart, you know what I mean? Because you can always pick up a bicycle and put it on your shoulder. And you'd find bicycle parts, right? Maybe a whole bicycle at some point, but one of the wheels is broken, so you have to go and find a bicycle wheel. That would actually be really fucking sick. I want to see a mod do that. Take the mini bike out and put in a bicycle. In the UK, we are taxed on everything. Yeah, gotta love it. I'm going to Creativerse now. Oh, I know. I've just been too busy with like outsideness because it's summer. I'm definitely showing my love to 7 Days to Die, but I don't have that spare time right now to play the other video games. Today's kind of shitty, so I'm doing my running around. But yeah, I'm a summer person. I love that summer. See how it's glitching out like this? This area is glitched out. There's a block or something out here somewhere that's off. I don't know where it is, but we'll find it. Oh shit. I gotta finish up this here. We gotta go back a little bit more. Oh, look how close we are to even finishing up the top. This is so sick. Here's a glitch spot. You guys see that tiny little dot right there? See now how I can actually place something on it? That's the thing that makes triangles and physics glitches. If you can ever find one of those, go like that with a frame and take it out, and your problems will be over. Big hint. Now, if you get one of those big triangles that you can't get rid of, put rebar frames on the points of them, and eventually you'll find the actual like block. Sometimes they'll get so small that they're not visible, and you can only tell by the point of the triangle. Oh, here's another one right here. It's from collapsing stuff, especially like collapsing areas that are at an angle like that. You get these little weird leftovers. Now, I'm actually going to be replaced. See how it got smaller and I placed a block beside it? It's like incredibly tiny now. It's barely bigger than the iris of my sneak icon. Like that's how tiny it got. And that thing can cause physics glitches like mad. People that don't have yards and animals really don't understand. I love my animals. They're freaking awesome. I posted on my Twitter and my Facebook. Lex is such a good caretaker. I recently adopted him a pet dog. And I caught him feeding his pet dog yesterday. I caught the tail end of it. But Bruiser would literally run up, look at Lex, back up a bit. Lex would grab some food, look down on him, and drop the food, and Bruiser would come up and eat it, and then Lex would go back to eating, and then Bruiser would run away for a little bit, come back, look at him again. It was like they've got their own little thing going on now. It's awesome. No adulting for me today? Yeah, I have to adult today, unfortunately. I literally had to tear apart my place again yesterday and like scrub everything with vinegar. It's a challenge, but it comes with taking in an older rescued dog. At least he's not aggressive or anything crazy. He's come a long way, a very long way. Starting to get a little vocal too. Starting to come in to himself. Now I need to cover up all these holes and everything. I don't want them randomly wandering into here now. Back here, so I can just go ahead and throw some frames and just kind of cover it up for now. There we go. Because it's too deep and they'll smack away at that one. If they fall in this one, usually they'll just keep going. But those ones are a little too deep. And this will help support the grass as well too when I place it on top. Awesome. Let's upgrade that shit. Degree equals debris. Collapsing stuff on console can create a visible, almost indestructible degree. Oh, I see what you need now. Yeah, that's what it is, dude. Is glitches like that. It's just you don't collapse. The trick is not to collapse too much at once. collapse things in small sections if you're gonna collapse them. It's just like, even you guys seen it when I collapsed the hotel that used to be in this city. And I stripped it down for everything it had to offer, and then we collapsed it in the collapse episode. A lot of it ended up remaining standing. I would love to mod games, like put a few things in, like a parachute or a bike. Parachute would be alright, but honestly, there's really no high, like, mountains or vistas. Like, I guess you could pair... A glider would be better. A glider would be cool. If you could make a glider, that would be friggin' amazing. Or, like, if there was a, that's what I mean. I cannot wait for this game to be open to mods, because I want to build POIs. And what I would do is I would build POIs such as, like, hunting and survival stores, or hobby stores, or stores like that would sell something such as a glider. And in that store, you would have a chance at finding a recipe to make gliders. You'd learn how to do it, like a book to teach you how to do it. And then you could be able to make gliders. But you'd also have the opportunity to be able to find a glider and use it at your own risk. Like, there's so much modders can do to this game. They just gotta polish it, finishing it up, and let them loose. Because they have promised us a mod kit. I'm looking forward to that. A full-out mod kit will make things so much easier. Starvation will look noobish when that happens, trust me. How about a wingsuit? Yeah, so, or like, yeah, maybe something like a wingsuit. And then maybe you can make something more advanced like a glider, if you find the recipe for it. Maybe not find a glider. Whoa, I didn't need to fill in those. What am I doing? Whatever. Look at that, we're all done. Oh, we finally got, we got a wandering horde spawning in over here. Let's take care of business here. Let's pop some heads. What's up, guys? Looks like a parade coming at me. Let's see how many we can take down before they get up here. Oh shit, my shit's damaged and I have nothing to repair it. Oh, that sucks. I was really into that. Oh well, smashing we go. It's like that old video game with a whack-a-mole, but for zombies' heads. Love it. Sledgehammer is the ultimate weapon ever. You just gotta get your timing right, that's all. I love how we watched them all spawn in too. That was funny. That's how big this platform is, and that's the purpose of this platform, is to be a huge spawning pad. Big ol' spawning pad. Let's go get these guys. We still got a few wandering around. It does so many crits to heads, it's amazing. Come here, buddy. Love it. What's up? Oh, you hit me, you son of a bitch. Is there any other ones back here? No. Just the two I took out with my sniper rifle before it broke. That's a shame. Gotta look for some of that sham. We gotta get saved up on the sham here a bit. Ooh, I'm overheating as well. Let's get some yucca juice in me here. It won't let me type ultra light? Really? That's weird, man. Oh, the hunt for finding corn on the PS4? Jesus. Yeah, it's always one thing with 7 Days to Die that you can't find. And on PS4 for me, actually it was two things. It was corn, and it was also... I still haven't found a nail gun on that playthrough. That's a little bit of a bitch. That really sucks. Ah, there's some sham. What's floating over here? Splint? Okay. No cash. We don't want that. See, this is why I don't loot, because I end up saving stuff I absolutely don't need. Well, rounds and stuff I need, but... like, I don't need... whatever, canned goods. I'll give them away to people that need them. Ultralight. That's really... well, there you go. You're able to do it this time. Ooh, can of sham ham. That's friggin' awesome. Stop, I want McDonald's fries now. Ugh, McDonald's. Ugh. Okay, I'm still hot, but the little teapot indicates that I'm a little teapot, and I'm cooling down at the moment. Okay, cool. We got them all. Let's go ahead and get the... Oh, they're all right fucking where I'm gonna be fucking. Fuck. These zombies, guys, they all with big ol' hearts, they can go fuck themselves. Because seriously, they just all died literally right where I'm gonna be placing grass, so I have to clear them now. I can't just wait for them to despawn. And I don't have an axe on me. I think the sledgehammer is too slow. Oh no, it's not. We can do it with the sledgehammer. Son of a bitch. Did I make this huge platform? This used to be a mountain, dude. This whole structure is carved out of a mountain, and all of the stuff I've carved out, I used to make the building. So this thing's literally sitting in the middle of a mountain. Up here is a huge spawn pad that I'm converting. I'm just changing it to grass to make it look nicer. There's really no purpose in the grass. I could have just made it this and then just filled in the holes, but can't just do that. Xbox One, day 196, I haven't found a nail gun or calipers. Ooh, no calipers is kind of hurting. That sucks. Okay. Why does the chat always devolve into food? That's who we are, man. That's who we are. Friggin' sledgehammer. This is funny because I was out driving post yesterday with sledgehammer. This kind of feels like doing it just without the effort. Cupcake frosting, you too. I see that you're working out. The stream deck. Oh, I always work my deck out. Okay, let's go this way. My eyes cannot deal with the brightness. Well, don't look into the sun. At least you get fertilizer. Actually, no, dude. When you hit it with the sledgehammer, it doesn't drop Oh, this one's untouched. I guess I'll take the painkillers. It doesn't drop the rotten flesh. See, I have no rotten flesh in my inventory. It only drops bones. But it's not a big deal. I have shitloads of that. Like, more than enough than I'll ever need. Like, the amount of farmland I have is insane. My old farm was actually up here. But as we found out, zombies don't spawn on farm plants. So I took all my farm out, and we actually are changing it to out front to stop any spawning out front as well too. All this black here, that's actually tilled dirt. I've been looking for auger parts for nearly 300 days. Oh yeah, White, you got that auger part problem. I got 99 problems, but auger ain't one. That sucks. That sucks, White. How do I stay interested in my save this later day on? Well, think of it right now. Like, you know, I love video gaming with my friends. Like, I kind of do miss, like, couch gaming. And then your buddy would come over and you'd split screen games. But look at it this way. Right now, I'm doing this mundane stuff with 183 of my friends. So that actually, honestly, that's what really helps in the long run. Doing this by myself is boring as hell. What I do when I'm actually doing this by myself is I'll watch documentaries or something, or listen to music on the side, or there's always something else going on the side when I'm doing like boring stuff like this that takes forever. Haze with the axe. Nicely done. Alright, grassy ground. Let's slap her in. Can we see the base? You definitely can, dude. Just hang around for a bit. We're hard at work right now. We're trying to get her done because I want to get this released so you guys can download it and fuck around with it. I'm going to be doing a video challenge for you guys. Oh yeah, someone won the draw. The draw ended yesterday for the 50K giveaway. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I did tweet it out and put it on the Facebook. So if you guys actually want to stay in touch, Discord's the best way. I have Twitter as well too, and Facebook. All the links are down in that description for ya. We've got a lot done in this hour and 15 minutes so far. Yo, you just watched Roland's Hitler caption thing? Oh my god, that thing, that made me laugh so hard when I seen it. It's perfect. It's done so well. I laughed so much because it did. Like, if you're involved in the 7 Days to Die community, especially on the forums, you'll really get it. It's so fucking funny. I love it. You know what? I bet I could play that on stream. Because it's not really copyright. Any of it's like copyright. Well, I guess the filming kind of is. Maybe I wouldn't get caught with it though. YouTube's so iffy. Like, I don't want to get copyright strikes on it. It's not like Twitch where it's like, fuck it, whatever, who cares. You can actually get in trouble on YouTube. They keep you accountable. Damn them. This is so incredibly repetitive. Glenn Hollister, thank you very much, Peter. Glenn Hollister was the winner. Thank you. Okay, I'll try to remember his name by going Hollister. I've emailed him. I got a few notifications that I got emails, so I don't know if he got it back to me. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. But if he hasn't gotten back to me within a week, I will redraw that one. Because that one's a big one, so... see you later, Steven. Thanks for stopping in, dude. It was good having you here. Is there Hitler thing a video? It's a caption thing. There's a website you can go to and make captions for video clips. And yeah, that's what it is. Oh, look at the sky tonight. It's nice. It's nice. I like it. So after this all gets set, ready to go. Of course, you guys know that the grass is an entirely pain in the ass, but it's one of the only 2 quality of life items I modded in on this playthrough. And it's the shears and the happy pill to break your broken leg. It makes you erect again. If you break your leg and you can't stand straight, it'll make you erect. But yeah, I've also modded in the shears because fuck punching these all out. So what I'll do is I'll turn all the grass into hay bales and then lay the hay bales going down this side just like they are in the front. This was just enough to stop spawns on this side. So I'm like, oh, you know why this isn't actually centered very well? It's because, whatever. But I'm going to have to go out, I think, about this far on this side. Then we shouldn't have any more spawns coming randomly off on the bottom part and digging through the walls. Because that's still happening on hard nights. We still got some of that going on. The bot is on point. The bot is friggin' amazing. The bot's quick too. Wait, do you notice how quick this bot is? Especially for YouTube. Holy fuck, this bot's amazing. That reminds me, actually, I have to go and drop him a few dollars after the stream. I'm very enthusiastic about supporting people who are doing stuff like this. Because we, like, as a streamer, that's big. That's big for me. Having that bot being useful like that. Who got oh yeah, there is an actual a bank heist. Let's go check that out. I want to see who won that one. They got away with bags of cash. Ah, there you go. Sam 27. You have lots of nuts, dude. You got 27, man. Congratulations, dude. Enjoy your nuts. Okay, let's get back to the game here. It's good to see you too, White Man. I'm getting a little better at catching people in the stream. I do like turtles as well, James. In and out every minute. That's what she said. What about bringing in the lawnmower instead of the shears? Shears work fine. We don't need a lawnmower. This is an arc. Yeah, are you saying hi to the bot, dude? It's a computer program, man. It doesn't talk to you. It's not like hello Google. I'm actually surprised my phone didn't pick that one up. I'm sleepy. I bet you are, man. Did you have a big night? The wife let you stay up late? Okay. Let's grab some more drink here so I'm a little teapot and I can cool down. Perfect. How do you take part in the heist? Next heist that comes up, just do what everyone else is doing, man. Pretty much it's a gamble. That's what the heist is a gamble for points. Oh, and there's an amount of time in between heists as well too, so it doesn't end up spamming the chat constantly. Eventually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna incorporate that, so that when I go on my breaks, you can do heist, and the payouts will be a lot bigger. And when I'm on break, and then it'll be on the screen, so you guys can like see it like a text-based heist thing going on the screen, so you have something to watch on the breaks. Because I do have a break screen, but it'd be pretty sick to actually play like visual games up on the screen on break. That'd be pretty slick. I haven't really ever seen anyone done, and apparently the bot guy's working on it, so that'd be pretty fucking epic. Yeah, because like you can have races and stuff, right? It'd be sick to actually see like a visual representation of the race. Hey, Purple Matey, how you doing, man? Hey, Viral, what's up, dude? Good to see you again, man. Oh, we're down to 31 dirt. We got a good chunk done, though. Not good enough, but we got a... Wow, we didn't even get that much done, actually. Yeah, we're gonna need to make another trip and get some more dirt before the top's finished. Dang. Dang it, Bobby. Ah, it is what it is, though. Get her done. GTA 5 heist? Not quite that. You guys are all nuts, and you're trying to get nuts. Sam got nuts last time. Sam got a lot of nuts. Where is a good place to get pipes? Like short iron pipes? Use your wrench on stuff like toilets. You can find pipes in garbage. They're pretty easy. They're pretty easy to find. All right. So we ran out of dirt. We got the top done. Oh. What else do we need to do here? I feel like a monkey today. A little itchy. It's his hair. I need to get rid of it. It keeps like tickling me and shit. Like now it's tickling me on the chin. Oh, fucking snowflake. Glitty, what is he doing? Building. This is my zombie pit. Do not fall down here. It is extremely dangerous. Oh, that trips me out. I don't want to fall, but yeah, it's a pretty big fall pit. It goes pretty far down there. Oh, look, you can see into my condo from here. That's my living room there. That's a good view of the zombie fall pit. Quite proud of it. Okay. So what do we need to do next? You know what I need to do? I needs to grab my auger, and we're gonna go on a travel and get ourselves some dirt, because we need some more dirt to finish up the top. And then when we come back, we can do some glass. We can get some of the glass work done, because we do have a ton of glass now from forging it all up. So let's go up, check the forges, swap my inventory, and hop on my mini Burke and go for a travel. Whoops, I almost went the wrong way. I feel you with the long hair. Yeah, it's just gotta go. My long hair is just because I don't care. That's basically all it is. I'm gonna bring that gas with me. Get gas, and then we'll just slap all this in here all lazily, because that is how I do things. And all we need is some weapons. Oh, you know what? I need to fix my sniper rifle and take some rounds with me. We definitely need that. I'm not gonna bring that. We don't need it. Water, yucca can stay because it's not hot there. I won't overheat. That can stay. And repair kits. There we go, entire stack. And auger. And gas. And we're good to go. Alright, let's hop on the Burke and take out of here. Whee. Pretty good so far, having a lazy day. You gotta love the lazy days. That's what Sunday's perfect for. Long hair, don't care. Exactly. Let's turn my headlamp on here so we can actually see. Headlights, not headlamp. My headlamp is on my head. Derp. Doing some cactus dodging. One of my favorite pastimes on 7 Days to Die. I literally just get off work. It's 2017, you're not allowed to say races. Okay, I'm gonna have a friendly competition where nobody wins, but everybody's a winner. We take the balls out of games. I'll send you one of mine if you send me one of yours. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this chat later. Maybe at my own private time. Whoa! Almost nailed that cacti. Skippy Heist. There we go. Yeah, you start the Skippy Heist with Skippy Heist, and then you type Skippy Heist, and then the amount of dukes that you want to wager to enter the bank heist. That's how you do it. So pretty much just copy what they're exactly doing. SC Low, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. Hope you're enjoying the content. We're not that far away from our dirt mine here. At least my mod and HUD and everything's up today. It felt so awkward without it. Yucca or red tea? I don't know. I just use yucca because I'm in the middle of a desert. I would use red tea if I was in the forest. Whoa! I done fail. Okay, I'm gonna pork my bark on top of this this hill here. And turn the light off first. There we go. Have you guys ever done that? Left your car lights on? That fucking sucks when that happens. It is complete ass. I do not enjoy it. I do not enjoy ass. Well, girl ass I do. But not game ass. Game ass is just ass. Give me more dukes and I'll give you my love. Got lots of that. It's gonna be private time watching from behind closed doors. Closed doors?
Get this guy. Funny guy.
Mr. Dauntless, welcome to the channel, dude. Thanks for the sub. Hope you're enjoying the content, man. Monday. Oh, you know what sucks? Monday's like the cliche day that a lot of barbers take off. Fuck. I might have to wait till Tuesday to get my hair cut. Stupid cliche Monday day off. Stupid barbers having to take 2 days off. Selfish assholes. Uppercase S and Skippy Heist. Oh yeah, maybe there's maybe the capitals. Maybe the capitals matter. I should probably change that actually. Now that I think about it, now that you brought that up, might be a good idea. You know what? I'm actually gonna go ahead and we're oh wait, we're gonna change. I'm gonna change that right now while we're thinking about it, because that's something I'm not gonna remember in the future here. Bank heist. Oh yeah, capital S. So I'm gonna change it to lowercase s. There we go. So it just changed. I pressed save, so I don't know if it applies right away or how that works, but I did change it. I did change it. We're good to go. Hey, Starry Scream, how you doing, man? Yup. Alright. I have to be careful too, because I actually really don't want a screamer in the middle of the night. But it's 2:30, so we should be able to get away with it pretty easily. I think this is just where we were, actually. Let's go over this way a bit. This should be a whole different chunk. Take a chunk out of this chunk. Is the auger too loud, guys? But yay for more of your long hair. I don't mind the long hair in the winter and stuff, because like even if I go out, I can throw it like just kind of go like this and put it in the toque. You know what I mean? But in the summer, I sweat and stuff, and that's like why I don't do a beard either, because it's just sweat. It's gross. Sweating, like I don't mind sweating, but sitting there sweating because you have a lot of hair is just nasty. So like props to the girls that actually do that. That shit's insane. I don't know how you guys handle that crap. Makes me want to go mad. It's an exclamation mark, not nat. Oh yeah, good call on that one. Good call on that one. Oh, look at that. Sunrise. We have some sunrise. I'm digging ourselves some dirt. With the hogger. How do I get auger parts? You gotta find them, man. Best place to look is in the tool chest cases that you find at the tool store in cities. Hey Jaybird, what's up, man? I have found augers in cars as well too. I do believe it's in the car bin, but I don't know. I haven't verified that in a while, so I don't know if that transferred over to Alpha 15. So I can't say 100%, but I should actually grab a wee bit of clay while I'm here too. I don't have a ton of clay. I have a good amount, but I should grab a little bit. It takes up so much inventory room. I'm gonna throw it in the bike here right away. Clay is so easy to do this with. And a good trick, guys, as well too, if you're using the auger and you want to save on repair and gas, feather your auger. Like, I don't hold it down, I actually feather it. I keep pressing the button. Did I hear? I thought I heard a screamer already. Maybe that's my my call to go move and grab dirt from somewhere else, like over here. Grab some dirt off this side. You should do some space buns in your hair, like Princess Leia. I could be sexy like Princess Leia. Wouldn't that be an awkward stream? Slave Princess Leia? Shit's sexy. You can try out the theme song from Video Startups. What's that, Arvin? Mine is so random. Cats, dogs. Oh, yeah, your photos in your phone. Yeah. I accidentally take photos a lot. Being fat fingered on the phone. So I have a lot of just random photos of nothingness. It happens. I think you need some wood too while you're near the trees. Nah. There's still lots of trees by where I am, man. There's like the one I'm in right now is very close to it's right beside that forest biome. This is mainly for dirt, because I can run away once we get the screamer situation too bad. But what I'm doing is actually just moving around to avoid all those fucking screamers. But guys, I think we're what, an hour and a half in. I think it's time, guys, to do another spam giveaway for points. What do you guys think? Another 50-point giveaway? I think that can be done. We'll do some more spam chat. We'll take a quick coffee break here, although they don't actually have coffee. You know what we'll do here is I'm gonna do a quick giveaway for the for 50 points. And so you guys will feel free to spam chat. I'm going to take a quick break. It'll literally take me like a minute. I'm going to go grab myself a fresh coffee. And when I come back, I'm actually going to exit this so I don't get like attacked by screamers or something. When I come back, we'll have some fresh coffee and you guys will have a giveaway. So we're going to do a giveaway and then I'll cut to our break screen here. 1 second. Let's get that started up. It's under control. Giveaway. We are going to start raffle. You guys have 3 minutes. I'll see you in 1. Participating is 50 free points, so you can use it for other giveaways. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll give away cave blazers today. Okay, at the end of the stream, what we'll do here, guys, is we will do a code giveaway for a game called Cave Blazers. It's like a 2D scroller game. Not really my type of deal. I was gonna give away in Discord, but we may as well use up all the points we've given away today, right? Why not? Oh, my internet thing just went all funker. That's okay though. It happens. It's also coming into Sunday evening, so the weekends I find the internet gets a little loaded. The sweet times are during the weekdays. Oh, and look at this, guys. Oops, look at this on this side. I can't watch myself in the monitor or TV when I do that. Lex and I were wrestling, and he got me good, like right above the eye. I'm surprised Lex has never got me like directly in the eye before. That stuff, it sucks when that happens. Hey, Sheet Warrior, how you doing, man? You always come when we're doing a giveaway here. We have about 30 more seconds left on that giveaway while we have a coffee break. Delicious. Love it. To see a whole bunch of, like, FDs flying up the screen. I see what you say there, Arvin. Probably not, dude. I like doing my own thing. Like, it's a good suggestion, but I kind of like doing my own style. That's what I like about YouTube. YouTube for me is an artistic outlet. It's if I want to make a real video with a video camera, I'm gonna fucking do it, right? Like, I don't care about becoming the next million subscriber, awesome, scream your head off type guy. That's not what I'm about at all. I don't really care. I piss people off a lot. That happens too. But once again, I really don't care. Because I'm a boss, man. That's funny. Okay, let's actually draw the winner. What am I doing? Okay, I'm going to draw the winner. Peter. Oh, wow, Peter. Peter Tardent. You actually won that time. There you go. You won 50 free dukes there, Peter. So you guys... so later on, when we do the giveaway for the... and it's only Steam, I'm sorry, guys. But easy computer should run it. It's a 2D side-scroller, so it's not that bad. But we'll do a giveaway for that later because I do have a code for it, so may as well. The one thing is, so if you do win, you have to go over my Discord, and I'll give you the information there. So if you haven't yet, join out my Discord, guys. It's down in the description, or you can do !Discord. You guys can't, yeah, you don't have, FD doesn't do anything anymore. It's over. You don't need to spam it. So let's pop back into the game here and get going on getting some work done. Oh, almost missed the lip of the cup.
Get this guy, funny guy,
Brayden, welcome to the channel, dude. Thank you for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the content. Mr. Dauntless, you as well, too. I think I might have missed yours. My bad. Okay, there we go. We're in game now. We are good to go. Okay, so the chat actually does kind of cover up my stuff a bit there. Let's move it up a little bit. I just looked at that. Okay. The little notifications that... Oh, wait. It just covers up the Oops. It just covers up the notification stuff so it can drop back down. Okay, we're good. We're good. Moving the stuff around my screen live is always a fun time. Oh, thank you, Arvin. I rather...
Get this guy, funny guy.
If I make a video that I'm proud of, that I worked hard on, that I worked really hard on, like my recent one where I did the stream intro and I released it to you know, kind of get my fans' reactions from it. Like it got quite a bit of downvotes on it, right? But like I could honestly care less. That's actually a really good sign. Banana Raw Wolf, welcome to the stream. So you know what I mean? Like I won't stop posting content like that because I could honestly care less. I take the attitude that if you just don't like it, move on. Because that's what I do. Like if I'm watching TV and I don't like a TV show, I don't sit there and call the cable company and troll them. I move on to the next channel because it's just wasting my time. But yeah, it's a whole different experience with our community here. We pretty much just like, we don't give a fuck. That's our attitude. I wonder if showering and iced coffee could wake you up and quench thirst at the same time. I don't think that's very cleanly. He'd be pretty sticky. A mini bike and a shotgun. That's funny. And is that Angle or Angie? Angie. There we go. It was a little fuzzy. It's hard to read. Hey Matthew, what's up, man? Welcome to the channel, or welcome to the stream. Yeah, your Be Right Back stream next Rick and Morty flying around. I've heard that name before. That's a cartoon, right? Yeah. Unless your iced coffee is black. Yeah, but then it's just cold coffee. That's not iced coffee. That's cold coffee. You people and your black coffees. Ugh. You know, you can almost not say that without sounding racist, to be honest. The innuendos? What innuendos? I have no idea what you mean about innuendos. Kind of makes me do that brow raise so epically I turn into Stephen Colbert. That's right, look at my eyebrows, look into my eyes. You will do what I say. You will like this video. That was legit. That was actually me. Do you ever get bored of 7 Days to Die? If I know something's ahead, then yeah, like Alpha 16's around the corner. I'm not nearly as enthusiastic about 7 Days to Die as I was obviously on Alpha 15 release. But I am now that Alpha 16's coming out. I mean, I'm like a little like hesitant now. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to play it as much, but I want to get Cooney Hills done, so that's a want. So I'm definitely like getting Cooney Hills here done. I'm gonna bring back a few Let's Plays here and there. I gotta do a server base tour soon. Gotta do a few other stuffs. Oh, I got a screamer. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? You screamed, so you saw me. Oh, here you are. What are you doing over there, Missy? Oh shit, she hit me. Bitch. Oh, damn it. I put away my damn beer. I didn't bring my beer with me. How am I supposed to be doing auguring without my beer? Whoa. Fucking zombies. And now he's humping them. Good job. Is that it? Nah, we got another one down here. Let's get rid of her. Oh, ouch. Get that. Hey, Skippy, what other games do you play? I play tons of other games, man. How can he do that with his eyebrows? I can't tell you. It's magical. He's playing with his deck again. That had nothing to do with my deck. I didn't have one hand on my deck the entire time. That was legitimately my eyebrows. I aspire to be as sexy as that man one day. I know it'll never happen because you physically can't change yourself on will, but I aspire to be. Is there another one? Where are you? I hear her. See, I was in the same spot for too long. Oh, there you are. Ooh, can I snipe you? I can snipe you. What are you doing way down there? Fuck, she's stupid. Oh, she's stuck in a hole. So she's making a bigger hole that she's gonna get even more stuck in. Ah, I missed her head. Son of a biatch. There we go. She's gone now. Another one coming this way. Where'd you go? There you are. There you were. Whoa. Holy fuck. What's up, buddy? Oh, you. Making all that noise. Wasting friggin' bullets. Let's go up and get him. Come here, buddy. I want to crit. I want to crit all over your head. There we go. I want to make it pop. I want to make it pop. I didn't crit his head. That sucks. He's going to give me a gun. Ooh, no, actually, he gave me a level 600 fucking military vest. Nice. Okay, I'll switch that out. Why not? Wasn't expecting that. That was a good drop. Cool beans. Oh, we got a hornet over here. Hit it, but it wasn't enough. These fucking things are so goddamn hard to hit. There we go. Awesome. Oh, this hair, guys. I swear it's driving me absolutely up the wall. Matthew, dude, calm down on the spamming there, man. Or you're gonna get blocked permanently on the stream, dude. That screamer wanted to jump on his disco deck and see fairy lights. What has this chat degraded to? Hey, Black Butterfly, welcome back. One hand decking? Yes. I can play with my deck with one hand. I prefer two. It's a little easier to hold on to that way. Tongo is my uncle. Oh, that's awesome. I gotta do a Tongo screen. It's just, it's so glorious. I love it. And that just goes to show you, you don't really need good content for YouTube. You just need content. It's some glorious shit. Okay, were we over here when we got attacked? I think we were. Let's go to the other side of the hill here. See if we can't get some, yeah, like over here. Because these shouldn't be heated up like the other ones. The other chunks. So you didn't get to see the deck? Well, I've showed a lot of people my deck. You can go watch my old streams if you want to see my deck. I'm not going to show it this stream. It's getting embarrassing now. Do a toggle meme? Yeah, it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. I actually have like a whole meme folder on my deck now. Just for memes. I'm finally getting a tablet next month. Congrats. That way you can watch stuff on a big screen. Everyone needs the YouTube Tongo. Ah, yes, the Tongo. Gotta love the Tongo. How much dirt do we have now? Not even 2 stacks. Yeah, we gotta keep going hard at this. Hard! I love that dirt. I honestly wish the auger didn't attract screamers as fast. Because, like, the auger, other than carcasses and explosives, is, like, one of the big things. It's up there. It gets a chunk heated up so fast. Getting a draw tablet? Oh, that's cool. How long have I been streaming? You can actually find out yourself by doing !uptime. The bot will let you know. There you go, Gator Gaming's got it. Gator Gaming's got it. Gator Gaming, didn't you win the last raffle? We're gonna be doing the raffle for the Cave Blazers Steam code here pretty soon, guys. I think we'll do one for it. That'll be fun. I think once I got some dirt here, we'll head back to base. I'll get the dirt going, and we'll do that giveaway. How about that? Get that going on. What are you on? Drugs. What are you on? Okay, I hear another one. Where you at, bitch? Oh, there she is. Oh, one shot. Didn't even get a scream off. That's right. Oh, what's this? Oh, we got another one incoming? Okay, let's take her out from a distance. Oh. Oh. Wow, they must, there must be a ton of them, actually. Okay, I don't see any more. No, we're good. Now, the reason I chose this hill to do this is because you can see for a far distance on top of the hill. If you're, like, down in the valley here, it's really hard to see them coming at you. I did it. Thanks for help with claiming it. Sweet, man. Well, I hope you enjoy. That's it's a lot of content to play through. And on the 30th, you will actually get I think there's a pre-download for it too. I'm not sure though. But you should get access to the last one, the finale on the 30th. Right now, we are farming some dirt to put on our spawning platform on Cooney Hills. I must have, but it just slipped out. That's what she said. Or, that actually, I think that would apply more for he. Or she. That one's kind of like a mixed use thing, I think. Oh! Charge that phone. Yeah, definitely charge the phone. You wouldn't want a 1 versus 1 me on Rust? Oh, you would want a 1 versus 1 me on Rust, dude. My aim sucks balls. I got a better mouse. I got this mouse. Actually, I love this mouse. The Corsair, it's like an LED mouse. It wasn't incredibly expensive. It was basic, and it doesn't have buttons all over the place, because I honestly haven't programmed a single button. But it's a perfect weight, and it actually has helped me a little bit with my accuracy. Because I was using this friggin' cheap-ass little wireless mouse before to do all my gaming on. It was like a $20 wireless mouse. What a difference, though. A wired good optical mouse compared to like a cheap $20 one. But that means I'd have to get up and find my charger. You can just roll around, Cupcake. I find it to be effective. I hear another screamer. Where you at, bitch? Fuck, she saw me. I think I hear a dog too. Where is she? Oh, there's a zombie. But where is she? The fuck? Oh, there she is. What are you doing up there? Fucking scream 2 times. Son of a bitch. Oh, nice, she ragdolled, so I got her. No scoping. Oh, shit. Don't no scope spiders is not always the best idea. See ya.
Funny guy, huh?
What do we got over here? We got a Carl up here, as Midnight Designer calls him. Good old Midnight Designer. I know a lot of you know Midnight Designer, but a lot of you actually don't. He's a really cool guy. Oh, shit. He's a really cool guy. He does a lot of more PG stuff, so you don't really like hear him swear and shit. But you guys should go check him out. You can see it up there. That's a link to his YouTube. Or you can just search him up, Midnight Designer, on YouTube. Pretty easy. He streams on Twitch, primarily, because he got Twitch affiliate. And I was actually the one to, unfortunately, tell him that he can no longer stream on YouTube, now that he's a Twitch affiliate. So if you want to see him stream, check him out on Twitch. It's making so much noise down here. Oh, you are, asshole. Damn it. That was a little delayed.
Funny guy, huh?
Whoops. Sick Orange, welcome to the channel. Mr. Bedeline, welcome to the channel as well, too, dude. And, Panoma and Bra Wolf. Oh, I said you earlier, but I just butchered it again. Welcome to the channel, guys. Thanks for subbing. I think my cooties got the best of me. I'm getting a cold. Yeah, that's why you gotta stay away from girls. You don't want to get a cold. Look, once you get cooties, you get everything else, right? You think AIDS is bad. Cooties is where it's at. Rail Pets, how you doing, man? Okay, so we gotta do a guess run here. Here we go. Reload that shit. And do us some more digging. We don't even have 2 stacks of dirt yet.
Get this guy, funny guy, huh?
Doge Bras, welcome to the channel, dude. Thank you for the follow. That notification actually kind of got me. That's funny. Do some more digging over here. It should be like slightly cooled down over here. Who knows? What we'll do is we'll pretty much have to take off once the Screamer hordes start getting ridiculous. Like once they start spawning in zombie bears and crap. I think that's when we'll call it a day and just kind of take off. There isn't a cure for the cooties? No, once you got the cooties, that's it. Skippy Heist 10. Oh, you guys still rocking the Skippy Heist? That's awesome. Thought I heard another one right behind me. Kind of freaked me out, to be honest. Okay, so what are we at now? Oh, sweet. We're over 9,000, guys. We've gone over 9,000. It's happened. I didn't think it was possible, but we've done it. You're the first person to get my name right ever? That's funny because I've been butchering them left and right all day. And welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoy watching me dig up some dirt and kill some screamers. That's gonna be what we've got going on right now. We need a bunch more of this. There used to be a mountain here. There is no more. I pretty much just dig the dirt right down to the rock. Just kind of keep spreading out with it. Takes a lot to transplant a mountain and then move it back, basically. Pat Carl, nice to see you. It's over 9,000. It is, Vincent. Yeah, you know what? I haven't ate today, guys. You gotta take it easy on me here. You guys are killing me. Some noodles would be great in 7 days. Some noodles would just be great, period, man. Okay, let's repair this shit. Oh, it's okay. 515. I was gonna be like, I hope it doesn't drop under 5. I like purple color the best when it comes to tools. I like seeing that perp. That does sound delicious. I forgot to charge my phone last night. That sucks. I actually just finally got a new phone, the Google Pixel. I fucking love the thing. Okay, Google is pretty sick. Oops, it just picked that up. But okay, Google's actually really sick. I love that. And the phone battery lasts like quite a while. My last phone was an alpha. It was a fucking piece of garbage. Such a piece of garbage. I hated it. Hey, what's up, Michael? How you doing, man? Just bacon. Ooh, bacon. I need to go do grocery shopping big time. I should eat and then go do grocery shopping. Post pics in Discord later. Yeah, just to tease us all. Do it up. Oh. Oh, stupid fucking hiccups. We got another screamer coming our way. Where is she coming from? I fear she might be coming from that direction. Which I do think... Oh. There she is. Bitch. Okay, we're gonna have to take care of a few other zombies again. Really? That didn't kill you? Come here. Oh, we got 3 spiders this time? Awesome stuff. 4 spiders. It's like a little spider horde. Okay, we cool? Is that really it? Well, that was an easy one. Okay, okay. So, since we already called it a screamer on this side, I'm actually going to go and dig up over here where the clay was. Because this is definitely a different chunk than those ones are. Keep the heat down a little bit. Keep going around the mountain when we can. I'm throwing roast in for dinner. That's awesome. You gonna starve? Oh, I know, dude. I just keep ordering in, man. It's getting expensive. It is. I honestly, I hate grocery shopping. I do. I hate the crowds. I just, ugh. Seriously, another one? Where you at, bitch? Oh, she's all the way over there. Let's try to get her through the grass. Oh, shit. I missed her head. There it goes. But she got that screaming. Ugh. You gotta love screamers, especially when you have roommates. They just wake up the fucking house. There you go. What's up, dog? Oh, hello. How you doing? Okay, so we gotta take care of you. There you go. Now that you're laying down, I'm gonna go like this and open you like an egg. Well, that's what you get, you fucking feral. You ain't no thing. Okay. Really? That was it, a feral and like a dog? It's fucking weird. Alright, let's go over this way, I guess. Back over here. It seems I'm still in the same chunk. I don't know how. That was far enough away. Oh, again? Okay, let's pop some heads. Where are you at? I can hear. It's definitely not coming from this way because I was over there doing it. So, oh, it's Fury. You remember, because you're obviously very active in 7 Days to Die. You remember in Alpha 15... Really? Really? All I had to do it was once and it hasn't cooled down yet? Holy fuck. Stupid cunt. There we go. Blow her head off. But you remember the randomly protected glitched out areas? This map is so old, it has some of that. Watch this. I can't damage it. That's a glitched out chunk. That's a glitched out chunk right there too. That's freaking awesome. That doesn't exist anymore at all, but still a glitched out chunk. Fuck, I love the sledgehammer. It's freaking awesome. Okay. Oh, here you are. I could hear her. Couldn't find her. Oh, my surround sound's not on. There we go. That helps. Turn on the surround sound. Double tap just to make sure. Love it. When is the last time I died? I'm not sure. Yeah, my screams bring all the zombies to the yard, and they're like, it's louder than yours. Oh, we got another one. Where is she? I think our heat map just might be way too high now. How much do we have? We almost have 3 stacks. Ooh, look at that. She was right fucking there, too. Where are ya? Bitch. Okay, you know what? Let's actually take off. Let's go back home. It's home time. Home's actually not that far away. Home is literally right up there. See, straight ahead where I'm looking? We have to go around that little lake. See where that mountain is. Actually, you know what? See where that mountain is right above my head? That's Cooney Hills. That mountain actually doesn't exist anymore. That's my complex. That's actually what it used to look like before, because the extended view distance only remembers what the map rendered in. It's not a live representation of what's happening. That is actually Cooney Hills before I destroyed it and turned it into the Cooney Hills complex. Wow, that's actually kind of cool. You can see how big it was before and why I chose it. Look at the face on that thing. It was easy to tear down and build with. Okay, let's blow this popsicle stand, guys. I'm going to go back, get this dirt running, and then we're going to go ahead and do that giveaway for the Cave Blazers code. How does that sound? I am fun-sized. Oh, my character? Yeah, he's really small. This is my old character. I got into the habit because I used to play a lot of... I used to play a lot of Reign of Kings. And Reign of Kings was a PvP, half sandbox, half voxelized game. It was amazing. Shit developer. I hope another developer picks that concept up of having like vox building on a static landscape. It's perfect for PvP. Anyways, I used to play a lot of that, and what I would do is I would make my character small and dark, because at night it was like literally impossible to see you. Like you'd be able to hide in the shadows so easy. So that's kind of like why, out of habit, this is what like my OG character. When I switched over to 7 Days to Die, I made my character look similar, but it doesn't make sense because I don't play PvP on this at all. But my new character looks amazing. If you guys haven't seen him, he's at the end of the intro. He's pretty debonair, if I say so myself. He's sexy as a shirt off. He's a sexy shirt off. Yeah, they'll be adding more in, man. There's more zombies coming Alpha 16. If you guys haven't seen yet, Joel actually posted an hour of Alpha 16 content. It's pretty fucking sick. See, there's Cooney Hills spawning in through the mountain. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful thing? I guess I could have looked up, but I wanted coffee. Ah! Whoops. Whee. I hate Bay Breakers race. I'm traffic. Dang foot race. Oh! Whoops. Ah! I love being on fire and driving the mini bike. It's funny. That would have been bad for the mini bike, though. And yes, I'm aware I need some water. I know that. Alright, so I'm going to go up here. We're going to get this shit going. And we are going to get ourselves a giveaway. How about that? If you do win the giveaway, though, you have to go on Discord and contact me on there. and I'll drop you that code. But yeah, let's open up this workbench here, and let's go recipes. Grassy ground, 1,165. That'll do a good chunk of it. I'm not sure if that's enough to finish it all, but I'll do a good chunk. I'm happy with that. Perfect. But anyways, guys, it's time to go ahead and do that raffle. There we are. Awesome. So, guys, like I said, it's been an awesome stream. It's been an awesome time. I've been really enjoying streaming lately. That chat, though, especially when you guys talk long, it just goes right over my face. Whatever. You can read the words over my eye. See, now my eye says laugh out loud. It's actually kind of creeping me out. I gotta stop doing that. All right, let's get the fuzz bot. We are gonna do 5 minutes. We're gonna give you 5 minutes to get in. Entry cost is gonna be 2 points each entry, and we're gonna call this one Cave Blazers. So the exclamation mark CB for Cave Blazers. Easy enough, right? But you won't get any bonus coins, so I gotta take that away here. Here we go. Let's start the raffle and give her guys a go. And I'll give you the key for Cave Blazers. How about that? There we go. I can see it up in the chat now. Okay, so I'm going to actually quit this game here so that I'm not AFKing in it and dying by accident. And we will do this. What are Dukes? Dukes are what you earn by being active in the chat and watching the stream, man. They're loyalty points, basically. And that's what people have been playing the little mini games with. And you can use them on giveaways. That autofocus, though. There we go. So yeah, there you go. Cupcake dropped the Discord link. Thank you very much, Cupcake. Yes, good luck, everyone. So you can enter as many times as you want to. Don't burn through all your points, though, if you don't really want Cave. Cave Blazers is only on Steam PC, too, guys, by the way. Just thought I might want to mention that. Holy entries. Gotta love that. The bot doesn't tell me, like, real time how many people entered and stuff, which kind of sucks, but... Oh, this hair? Get out of my nose. Jesus. It's like, there's one that, like, likes to, like, migrate, and it's like, no. Oh. Like, right on the tip of my nose, and it's driving me absolutely nuts. I gotta get rid of this shit. Like, so bad. Like, look how freaking long it is now. Like, halfway down my face. Now you can't even see half my face. I look like that guy off of, that big hairy guy. I can't remember the name of the show now. It was more of a dark show. Do you guys remember the name? I don't. Yeah, it's either Roblox. You've earned 15 Dukes so far this stream, man. You haven't been active in the chat for a full hour, but you've earned 15 Dukes. You need a hairband. Yeah, I'll get a hairband. That'll look spectacular on me. Yeah, it's driving me nuts right now, too. Man bun or hairband? We've gone over that one before. I won't do the man bun. I won't rock the man bun. How do you find out how many Dukes you have? Exclamation mark Dukes, man. You can only do that command every once in a while, too. Yes, Tiger, I'm emo, dude. Can we see the new dog? If he's up and running around. Bruiser, come here. Bruiser. They both old, so they sleep a lot. Bruiser's actually still pretty fucking active. God damn it. Out of my eyes now. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tuck it. There we go. I tucked it into my ear. Deal with that. Fuck. Chewbacca? No, not Chewbacca. The Addams Family. There we go. Cousin Knit off the Addams Family. I feel like Cousin Knit off the Addams Family. That's what it is. And I never brush it either. It's just stupid curly and crap. How about we blade your hair? You could try braiding it. I don't know about blading. That sounds dangerous. Half a month on then? Yeah, no, it's not happening. Oh. Do you get a particular style when you get a cut? Nah, I just get it cut short and then let it grow it again. It's been about a year now since I've cut it. So it's about time. He does both, Gators. Sometimes he'll eat it all right away, and sometimes he'll just pick at it. I don't know why. His habits have changed so much even from when I first got him. Like, when I first got him, he wasn't eating very much at all, but now he's back to eating. He has to gain some weight big time. He's very small in the back end. Can I download other 7 Days to Die maps on PS4? No, unfortunately you can't, Dirt Nation. There's no way to share game saves on PS4. I wish there was, but there isn't. Butterfly hair clips? Yeah, that sounds legit. I'll do that. That sounds amazing. We'll do that up. Okay, we got 50 seconds left here, guys, on the draw. And then we'll call the winner, and then the winner can contact me on Discord. Can you enter more than once? Yes, dude. Every time you do it, it's 1 entry, and the entry points is 2 per entry. So yeah, it's not like you can enter once. You can keep entering as long as you have the points. It'll do an entry. Do a mohawk? That'd be fucking amazing. Lex, yeah, Lex comes and goes. Sometimes he eats, sometimes he doesn't. I'm thinking it's his stomach, but as long as he's happy and stuff and not dying, that's good. Your server is more difficult with no safe place with running zombies. Have your servers more difficult? Chizbliz, no. You want to play that way? Go find an appropriate server for that. One thing you'll learn about me is I don't tell me what to do, because I won't do it. B, the server is very, 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 very successful, and people love it, so why would I change it for you? And C, the easy solution is go find another one. You don't have to be a douche about it. Your hair should match your 7 Days to Die character. Oh, could you imagine big and puffy and white? Jesus Christ. Do the in-game Skippy hair. I'm very blunt. I'm not a people pleaser. I could care less. You guys are here to chill out, or you're not. All right? Oh wait, giveaway. Here we go. Okay, let's draw the winner here. Let's do that. Sick Orange 3. You actually won that one, man. Congratulations, dude. You have to contact me on Discord to get the code for that one. But congratulations. I always love doing the giveaways. They're fun to do, even if they're like for tiny little derpy stuff, right? Yeah, see, like Toby loves this server. There's thousands of servers out there you can go and check out. Each server has a different balance, so I mean, my hair, fuck my hair. My hair, guys, my hair can go fuck itself with big ol' hearts. A big ol' fuck itself to my hair. I don't care, though. I don't really care. But anyways, guys, I think we're going to call it here. We got our winner. I'll see you over on Discord, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thanks for your likes and all your supports and stuff, guys. And as usual, I will see you in the next video. Stay classy. Always survive and back up those game saves. Peace out, guys. Wrong way.